Are you looking for inspiration for your own social media efforts? Are you feeling stuck and need a little bit of a push? Then this episode of Mastering Local Marketing Podcast is for you. The right social media campaign can do more than generate likes. It can inspire, start conversations, and move people to action. For small business marketers, which you probably are if you're listening to this, these campaigns offer more than just marketing wins. They're blueprints for building awareness, connecting with communities, and making a real impact. Large brands may have the budget, but the strategies they use can be adapted into powerful, affordable campaigns for small business. In this episode, we'll share some of the most influential social media campaigns of all time and to break down the key elements that made them effective. You see how to borrow the building blocks from big brand strategies and evolve them into something uniquely your own. No $1 million budget required. I'm Jed. He's Matt Hansen, a digital marketing professor at Purdue Northwest. Hi.
Hey.
Hey, I just want to start out with one thing. I went to an innovation conference with Live Golf, and they were having a tournament here in Chatham Hills, right outside of Indianapolis, and part of it was the innovation conference. And they brought Live in so that us innovators and us founders of digital startups could have access to what Live is trying to make happen and how we could apply it to our own small businesses. It was amazing because all of the principles are the same of what they do and basically the same stuff that you talk about on all these podcasts. So I wanted to congratulate you. It was all about awareness.
Okay.
Awareness was a word they must have used 100 times. And if you know the sales funnel, we go back to the fundamental here of mastering local marketing is it's a funnel. Create awareness, then you get people in the consideration phase, and at the bottom is the close or the sale itself. And so I wanted to say it was like kind of exactly what you're saying right now. Look at what they're doing, apply it to your own business.
Yeah, for I would say at least 10 years I taught this process to my students, so to undergrad students in marketing. And what I would tell them is we have to build a campaign for a client. And I said we've got our objectives that we've got to go out there. We have to generate awareness or build consideration or whatever it may be. I said, but let's go out there and understand. Typically, they were targeting college students. That's why the college students were working on it. But I would say, let's go out there and find at least 3 campaigns that you absolutely adore. Things that stop you in your tracks. Things that you love to participate in. Things that you, when you see them online, you actually stop, watch the video, participate, you're downloading apps, you're participating in a rewards program, whatever it may be. Tell me what those are. So we would literally spend 2 weeks going out and just pulling all of these different campaigns, and we would talk about them. And it's one of my favorite things to do because what you're doing is you're dissecting the things that worked for you or worked on you. And the fact that they were the target audience, it worked out even better. So we would go out there and we'd find, maybe we found a Pepsi campaign that they ran in the past, or a Red Bull campaign, or a Nike campaign that ran. And we'd start to dissect it and go, well, what is it about it that you absolutely adore that got you to notice it? Is it the imagery? Is it the video? Is it the offer? Is it the rewards? What is it? And we would dissect that and we'd say, okay, great. If we built a campaign for our client that incorporated 3 of those things, would you pay attention to it? And they said, absolutely. So that's how we always got started with some of the campaigns that we used to do. And I've taught this process to other universities as well. Other professors have reached out to me to talk to their students and so forth. But what we're going to talk about, and I love doing these episodes, and we're going to do a bunch of these through the year, is just talk about campaigns that stand out, that you just need to pay attention to, and why they work, and how you can kind of incorporate them into your own brand. And, we've got some really fun ones to talk about today.
I just want to emphasize that. I took the Matt Hansen 2 digital marketing courses in my MBA. We are recording here on the campus of Purdue Northwest, So I just started taking a class here and there, and then all of a sudden I'm like, well, why not be one of the oldest MBAs they've ever had? And that was one of the main things I took out of there. What do you look at what the big people are doing and spending all this money on R&D, and then all of a sudden they're rolling this out, and how do you apply it locally? And I'll give you an example is that we basically looked at the technology that all of the big folks were doing that were streaming big games. And we lost some people to Big Ten Network. And there's like, you can do that at the high school level. And that is a major fundamental in mastering local marketing, is to look at not just in social media, not just in tech, not just in promotions, look at what those folks that are spending a ton of money to learn how to do this and apply it to your own business.
Yeah. It's the same thing when you talk about location, right? So if you're looking for a location to put your business, find a Starbucks. They've done the research, right? Find a Starbucks, find a Walmart, find a Target. They've done the research. They've invested into that area. And, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be successful if you're right around those.
You may remember some of these social media campaigns, and we'll look at, kind of marvel at what they did, and then we'll dissect some of the fundamentals behind it. But you may not remember this one, the Bat Kid campaign, and it's kind of centered around leukemia. Had a rough message in there, but also had some major entertainment. Describe what it was and what really appealed to you.
Right. So Make-A-Wish obviously provides a wish to children that have some kind of disease that, it's kind of that one thing that they've always wanted to do. And there was a kid by the name of Miles Scott in San Francisco, and he liked Batman. So instead of just creating a thing where you go and meet maybe one of the actors that was Batman, or you put him in an outfit that's Batman or whatever, they created a whole Gotham City in San Francisco. So think of it in terms of this, right? So you have social media, you have these videos that you're creating, and you're taking the path and you're creating a movie about this wonderful child as Batman. So he went around and he's saving he's saving the damsel in distress. He's going out and capturing the Riddler. I mean, he foils a bank robbery, right? But they planned all of these to be action-packed, and they shared these videos, these stories on social media. So Miles and his family has this great content that they get to see. It's this great experience. It's so much more than just a meet and greet. Like, he recreated himself as Batman, and they put it all together. So, I mean, yes, you can do the wish, but they took it to that next degree, that next level, and I just love this one. So, I guess what I'm saying is, from a local level, if you're doing something from a charity point of view, or you're just doing something very similar to this, how can you take it to that next level, right? So we start with Batman as a character, but then we promoted it into almost like a little mini movie or little mini episodes of him going out and saving all of these people and creating this idea that he really was Batman. So I guess what I'm saying here is, from this campaign, I love it. This is probably my favorite one on the whole list that we're talking about today, but it makes you feel good, right? You see this kid gets to live out his dream. Maybe you have the same thing. Maybe somebody, let's go to, one of my friends recently was doing a triathlon, right? Could you, if you're a sporting goods store, could you follow their path from point A to point B, the struggles that they go through, the triumphs that they have, as they're swimming, obviously you can't do any video with that, but then they transition to the bike or the run. I mean, can you have them talking as they're going through and doing these types of things? Can you create that content, that real life content? And I think that's the fun part, is how do you take it to that next level? And it's very simple. I mean, you can go get, my daughter just bought a $5 microphone from Five Below that she's doing a vlog with. I mean, it doesn't take much to get the materials that you need, right? So she's got the $5 mic and you've got your iPhone and you're off and running. So what we're saying is it's, I know we just said no $1 million budgets, but a $5 microphone in your phone, I mean, we all have our phones in our hands at all times. So, you could create something just like that just by taking this as an inspiration.
Well, who has a bigger marketing budget than Apple? And I know that there are a number of good social media campaigns. What stands out for you with Apple?
So Apple with their shot on iPhone campaign, I absolutely love, right? So there are roughly, it's probably closer to 30 million posts right now on Instagram, just people highlighting how good the iPhone is to shoot video and photos. In my family, when we upgrade our phones, my wife gets it for the video and for the picture, right? And she very rarely talks on the phone. She very rarely text message. She's always snapping photos. She's always doing video. So instead of creating a campaign and saying, this is how great our iPhone is, they've actually turned it over to the user-generated content to say, show us what you can create. And you'll see even the commercials that Apple does on rare occasion are shot on an iPhone. So, I remember the days back 10 years ago where we had to buy DSLRs and have these fancy cameras, and we'd have $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 worth of equipment. Today, you buy a $1,000 iPhone and you're off and running. You could shoot some really good video that's movie quality, and your photos are amazing at this point. So they've highlighted how well their product is by literally turning over the marketing message to their users, creating a hashtag, and as I said, you're going to see on social platforms, all of the content that's being generated. And just by searching the simple hashtag, you can see what's out there and get inspiration for what you can do as well.
The one of the things that we do here, and I've mentioned it many times, I do a JED TV Sports Network, and we're growing, and we have an app on TVs and on phones. And one of the things that we can track is a measurable for us is if we do a game or we do some posts or we just did media day last night, how many app downloads does that get us? Spotify is in the same business, so we've actually learned from them a couple of things. But Spotify has been very innovative also, and I know there's one that you specifically like.
Yeah, I love how Spotify every December kind of wraps up everything that you've done through the year and then shares that with you and gives you the ability to then share that with your friends and family, right? So it's funny because everyone I know that's on Spotify, especially even in my household, they'll laugh and go, oh, my daughter, Taylor Swift, right? It's 1 million Taylor Swift songs that she listens to. And it's interesting to me because it's your data. And then they're just sharing your data back to you, and then you take that and run with it. So they're not generating anything other than your data coming back to you and saying, here, you want to share this with your friends and family, here you go. And, how can you use that with other things? I mean, there's a variety of ways that you can do that. I mean, you're collecting data on your customers. If you've got a, point of purchase system in there, maybe you can track some of that and provide some insight into how their spend went that year, right? If you're a restaurant, do you get the same thing every single time, or are you getting different things? I mean, are you buying events? Are you, you can go a million different ways with it. But I love the fact that they're taking data, giving it back to you, and then giving you the ability to share it with people. That's all they're doing. It's a very simple process.
What about Dove?
Dove, I absolutely love what
the women show the women and look like me campaign. I mean, I know my wife follows that one. I haven't necessarily gone into it, but you have, so go ahead.
I love what Dove has done because we worked back in 2014. We worked on a campaign in this space, and one of the things that we kept saying was when you strip away the product and the logo, all the ads look the same, right? So what Dove has done is they actually partner with Getty Images, and they created the Show Us campaign, and it literally is basically saying, instead of us trying to build the next campaign and show you what that next campaign is, why don't you show us what you want to see in the ads? So what they did is they created this hashtag, and you can share all these images, and people are basically commenting saying, well, I'm unique in this way, and I would love to see more of this in advertising because I don't see that individual out there, right? It's the same person over and over in these beauty ads, but this is what I struggle with, or this is what I have, or this is what makes me unique. And I would love to see more of that in those ads, right? And that's what they've done. So they created this entire campaign, and all of these images now are in Getty, so you can see them. And it basically, it's really interesting to see what people want to see in the ads. So instead of seeing the same person over and over and over, the same theme, what you're seeing is the user-generated content. They're giving you their inspiration. They're saying, please promote your products this way, and you're getting market research coming back to you to say, oh, we never thought about going in this direction or that direction. So your users, your customers, are actually giving you research and insights as to where the next marketing campaign should go. And Dove just embraces everybody instead of trying to be this stereotypical beauty ad, right? And that's what I love about what they've done. They've done this in a variety of different ways through the years. Another one that they have is where they interview, they sit down mother and daughter, and they start talking about how they use AI to generate these beauty messages coming from the mother. And the mother never actually said these things. And the mother is telling them to get injections and all this other stuff. And the mother is absolutely appalled, right? And she's like, I would never say this. Well, the daughter is going, I hear this stuff on social media all the time. And, it's really kind of shocking. So it's that, in that last episode, we were talking about the shock value and playing off of emotions. This is exactly what I'm saying. Like, you're looking at what people are dealing with in that industry, and you're trying to make a change for the better. So listen to your users, listen to your customers, create that user-generated content, and it's going to provide some insights as to where you need to go.
Doritos did an amazing one that, if you're a sports fan, it's tough to stand out around the Super Bowl. A lot of people spend a lot of money, and then they don't get the ROI on it. And when they came up with Crash the Super Bowl, I thought that was... They had to give away $1 million, but you're not going to have that kind of budget. But they got some pretty good ROI on that one.
Yeah, I mean, basically the whole idea was submit a 30-second commercial, Doritos commercial, and if yours is the best, we'll run it on the Super Bowl. So, who's to say that you couldn't do something like that on a local level, right? So. We were talking before we got on air, we were talking about how local is becoming, especially in TV, local is the big focus right now. So could you take this same idea where people are creating 30-second commercials for Doritos to go on the Super Bowl and saying, let's throw it out there to the local universities, let's throw it out there to the local creative talent and just say, hey, if you can create a commercial for our company, we'll run it on the local TV, on ABC and NBC, or we'll run it on the streaming services or whatever, right? Like, could you do that? Of course you can, right? Because people want to see their stuff put out there. And, could you create a competition, some kind of promotion that way? Absolutely. So, maybe, we were talking about marketing agencies. Throw it out to the marketing agencies and say, all right, instead of throwing an RFP out there for our next thing, create the next best 30-second commercial. And whoever does the best job, that's who we're going with, right? And that you run it. There you go.
Too easy. He's Matt Hansen, and I'm Jim Deedlow Jed of Jed TV, and we're talking about some of the best social media campaigns of all time. You probably have your own. The main principle, though, is just learn from those campaigns. You don't necessarily have 7 people sitting in a room trying to come up with creative ideas and then have an ability to A/B test everything. They do, so you might as well use it.
Definitely.
Till next time, we will see you later.